Greetings everyone, this is Old Lexington on the 4th of December 2012, about 10:30 on a Wednesday in the morning. I'm doing something a little different in this video. It follows the same basic format as my other videos, but what's different is I'm not on my main character. Instead, I'm on a tactical Romulan character that's nowhere near as powerful as my main, which is an engineer. So today it's a Romulan tactical. But she's not built for DPS like most players do with their Romulan tacticals. She's built for fun, as a themish Romulan. She's flying a Federation Starfleet Guardian cruiser, which is one of my favourite looking ships in the game, because you can customise its hull quite a lot. But she is a theme Romulan, and that's what she's gone with, so let's have a look at the build. It's called the RRW Framing Starfleet. So she's a Federation Allied Romulan, but she's infiltrated the Federation to frame them, and that's why she's using a Federation ship. But it's been modified to be a Romulan ship. So to go with the theme, I've gone with the full Romulan space set, the prototype deflector from the Romulan Reputation, and paired it with the impulse engines and the covariant shield. And these three items form a three-piece set that gives me prototype plasma projectile. So it enhances high yield plasma torpedoes, but I'm not using high yield on this ship because I prefer torpedo spread with my plasmas. I like plasma torpedoes because when they hit the enemy, they create a kind of lightning storm on their hull. And for all three pieces I get capacitance transfer, so this prototype plasma projectile doesn't really work on this ship without high yield. But the capacitance transfer, this works. It reduces enemy shields and gives that reduction to me as bonus. So it drains the enemy shields and gives the drain to me as a bonus power, and that's whenever I click this button down here, because the three-piece set makes a clicky. I went with the cryoplasma infused warp core from the Breen space set. It has 100% power transfer, which is good. It's not the best warp core, but I wanted it because in my mind and my roleplay of it, this character was more aligned with the Breen than with the Federation, so she got a Breen warp core and is using a Breen tool. That's purely for roleplay though. And this Breen tool is endothermic inhibitor beam, which is when you fire it at a target, it will freeze them, making their hull more brittle so it's easily destroyable. I also went with the Romulan weapon set, which consists of this experimental plasma beam array. And the good thing about this beam array is I don't believe it uses any weapon power. so this power will not be affected when I fire that beam. And another part of the set is the Romulan hyperplasma torpedo. And the third piece of the set is 0-point energy conduit. The energy conduit is great for giving you extra critical chance. And since it's a 3-piece set, we get extra plasma damage for all my plasma weapons, including my torpedoes. Oh, yeah, because they're energy torpedoes. And plasma hyperflux enables a special firing mode on your experimental plasma beam array, which deals increased direct damage, applies a high damage over time for 10 seconds, decreases damage resistance for 10 seconds. So what it does is it decreases my enemy's resistances while applying a damage over time plasma effect. And that comes in the form of a clicky, which is down here. So every time I click this weapon will deal high plasma damage to an enemy. I also put on the back, I put a omnidirectional plasma beam that I crafted. And I'm also using the tractor beam mine launcher because it's a very Romulan mine launcher. You get it from an episode in the Romulan story arc, and you see lots of NPC Romulans using these tractor beam mines. Let me see if I can figure out what episode that comes from. I believe it comes from Cutting the Cord, the episode where you defeat Hakeev once and for all. Excuse me, my voice is getting a little dry. And these tractor mines, they're quite powerful, surprising. And I haven't really upgraded much of this ship because I haven't had the resources to do so. And despite not being upgraded, these tractor mines have proven quite useful. And what I've just noticed on my build is I might be missing a tool that I haven't put on. Mine relocation, there it is. But I think I left that off because I've got no space to put it unless I want to remove something I'm keen on. Actually, I can move that because I'm not using it. Whoops, wrong button. And I can put mine relocation there. Because it's very useful with tractor mines to be able to relocate them next to your enemy. And I don't need to save because that intel ability I had there was useless on this ship since I'm not using intel specialization. Also, I've gone with caustic plasma beam arrays for the remaining weapon slots. I've managed to upgrade one of them a little bit, not much. Got 4 of them. More details. Caustic plasma burns half as long as normal plasma, but inflicts more damage per tick. So basically, let's see what plasma weapons do without the buffs. A 2.5 chance of plasma damage of 230 plasma damage per second for 7.5 seconds. Normal plasma beams would do less damage for a longer period of time, so it's about the same as a normal plasma beam. It balances out to be about the same. And these weapons are free, these caustic plasmas. I believe you get them from doing some sort of Romulan patrols. Maybe there's an episode where you do a lot of different patrols. See if I can remember. I think it might be Last Stand.
The Alachi's initial attempt to attack Riho Station failed.
Yep, that's where you get your caustic weapons from. And basically that episode is just a bunch of patrols. It's from the Vengeance story arc. And I did it several times to get enough weapons to fill out my loadout. Oh, that didn't save. So I better swap it out again. I've been playing this character all morning. Lots of TFOs and patrols and even a few battle zones. And it's proven to be a really fun ship to fly. It's not the most powerful ship and it does die from time to time. But then I would expect that when I'm not playing my main character. Because I could have put a better plasma build on this ship. However, I wanted to go with specific things for my own roleplay. I've got better plasma gear, but I just wanted to try out something a bit different. For my devices, I have Temporal Negotiator to reduce the cooldown of my Bridge Officer abilities, so that brings my heals up more often. Subspace Field Modulator from the episode Skirmish, which is like a temporary cloak. Red Matter Capacitor from the Phoenix box, which is a power boost. We've got some armor with turn. That's important on this ship because it's rather slow, so it needs extra turn rate and speed. So I managed to get an armor from the Fleet dilithium mine that provides extra turn rate. A piece of armor from the episode Ragnarok that improves resistances and shields. I got this for the improves control effects, improves hull regeneration. I needed both of them for this build, but mostly it's for the crits. And from the Delta Fly episode, extra speed and turn rate. I've got dynamic power redistribution module for the damage resistance and the extra directed energy damage for my weapons. And I've paired it with disruption pulse emitter, which has proven quite useful. It fires a cone of energy in front of my ship, cones of pulse cones that damage any enemies that are within it, within the cone. And they pair together to give me a 2-piece bonus that improves my plasma weapons. I'm using Temporal Disentanglement Suite, which is from an episode reward. Let's have a look, see if I can find what episode that is. I think it's from the Iconian War, and I think it's the episode Butterfly.
The research teams in the Kiana system require your assistance. They have been
Yep,
running
there it is.
thousands of temporal incursion simulations of how to use the...
This gives me extra shielding, which is very useful on this ship. And if you're running with high auxiliary power like I am, it'll give me better critical chance and critical severity. So I can get bullseyes on the targets more often and additional damage whenever I do score a bullseye. That's why I've leveled my power up as high as it can go, locked it in place, then did the same with my auxiliary, locked that in place, and left shields and engines where they lie, using these sliders. Also, Lobby Store console for the extra critical severity, tachyokinetic converter for its critical severity, but it also does flight turn rate. And this ship is it's a slow ship, so I did need to boost up my flight speed and turn rate quite a bit on it. And we've already gone over this console. The mastery on this ship: damage resistance, hull regeneration, more damage resistance, extra hull hit points, and the trait. I don't think I'm using the trait. I'll have to have a look in a minute to see, but it's a pretty good trait for survival. It gives you hit points and shield regeneration. So it's very good for survival, this trait, and yeah. Now for my stats, the hull is really good. The shield regeneration isn't that great, but the shield facings are okay, almost not great, but they don't need to be because I've got good resistances. So good resistances along with good hull means I don't really need so much shielding, although the shielding isn't that bad. Didn't need to worry about accuracy, critical chance, anything above 20 is okay. Critical severity is quite high on this ship, 148, but I think that might be due to the fleet research lab bonus being switched on. Tactical, nothing to speak of really, just improves critical severity, weapon amplification. Now my shield drains aren't very good, so my shields drop like crazy, and I'm not very good at draining enemy shields, but I've got good control effects here for some reason, and that's why I've gone with Gravity Well. Well, I say good. It's good for this build. It's not good compared to other players. I mean, some players have this up over 700, whereas I've only got 166, which is good enough for day-to-day play. And we've got quite a fair bit of hull and power transfer. Flight speed is 31, which is pretty slow, but turn rate 11.5 is pretty good. I'm not using any visuals, except for the set visuals. For my skills, I haven't gone ultimate on anything, and I didn't use any exotics even though I've got Gravity Well. I'm just reminding myself of what I've got. Yeah, I tried to go with balance between hull and shields, but mostly hull and a bit of flight speed. But a fair bit of weapons as well. This is an unusual skill tree for a Romulan tactical, I suppose. I mean, shield capacity, hull capacity, shield regeneration, hull regeneration, I've got them, but I didn't max them out. I didn't max out projectiles. So I've tried to compensate for a lack of shielding and a bit of hull and a bit of flight speed. Specializations, I've gone with strategist for maximum shield capacity, plus diversionary tactics is rather important on this ship because it reduces your threat. That is my secondary specialization. My primary specialization, I should be using intel on this ship, but I found the ship was too slow using intel. I needed a bit more speed boost. And I didn't really want to go with intel anyway because I've been using that a lot. So I went with pilot to get extra speed and turn rate. Also, rock and roll has become quite useful on this ship to keep it alive. It gives you an immunity for a short time. And Lone Wolf gives you a bit of extra shielding as well, which comes from this pilot specialization. Extra defense rating, extra flight speed, turn rate, and defense rating, and immunity, immune to all damage, all incoming damage for a while. For traits, well, this is an alternate character, so I had to go with what I've got. Beam training, more beams. Last ditch effort, which gives me extra damage resistance whenever I click this tactical ability, go down fighting. Projectile damage, more projectile damage. Elusive increases my defense rating because this ship, it needs a lot of defenses. And I've put a hell of a lot on, but it's still not tanky. Even with all these defenses and speed and turn rate, it's more of an elusively build than a tanky build. Minus threat generation is important. Extra damage and crits. For starship traits, I've got emergency weapon cycle from the Arbiter battlecruiser. I don't know what the Romulan variant of that ship is, but I've obviously got it. Point defense protocols. That's like an extra weapon on your ship, but it's not a very powerful one. And it fires automatically, so you don't have to worry, it's a passive weapon. Supercharged particles from a big ass scimitar. Every time I fire a torpedo, my energy weapons are enhanced. Cold-hearted from a Breen ship, the Plestral, I think it is, the Breen Raider. This reduces flight speed for the enemy and their damage resistance and steals their power. And it stacks up to 5 times. And pedal to the metal, so if I stay at full impulse, I'll get a damage boost. I'm not sure, I think pedal to the metal comes from the Presidio battlecruiser. I'm not sure of the Romulan variant of that. For my reputation, critical severity, critical chance, extra weapon damage, armor penetration, and more armor penetration. For my bridge officer stations, this is where it gets weird. I've got 2 Romulan operatives, and if I click on one of them, where is he? There he is, and go to his traits, you can see, oh, superior Romulan operative for his extra crits, but this one's also got subterfuge, which is unusual. Normally you just get the one trait and it's in the 4th slot. So let's just have a look at this one. Yep, that's normally how a superior Romulan operative looks. And you get these from the Fleet Embassy. Well, you get this one from the Fleet Embassy. Whereas this one, I think he was a Duty Officer Assignment Award. Anyway, I've got torpedo spread on one of them. And this is a universal station, so I don't have to go with tactical here, but I did for the extra crits. Tactical team to keep my best shields between me and the enemy. Beta to debuff the enemy, and fire up bow, of course, for my beams. For my science officer, he's the hierarchy from that Delta Quadrant episode. You get him for free, and he's got 2 space traits, pirate being the important one. And that's science team to restore my shields, hazard emitters to help keep my hull strong, and gravity well because I had an extra space on this for another science ability, so I went with gravity well because, well, it seems to be working on this ship. It's not very powerful, but it does give you some targets of opportunity to hit with your disruption pulse emitter or your anti-time. For my engineers, he's nothing special, just a human, I believe, with leadership trait. And it's pretty standard layout. Engineering team for my hull heal, reverse shield polarity to trick enemy weapons into charging my shields, emergency powder weapons for extra firepower, and directed energy modulation for shield and armor penetration. This is the intel station, but I haven't used an intel ability because I needed pilot instead. Pilot and strategist. Also, for my own roleplay, I've gone with Breen, endothermic inhibitor to freeze enemies. And I very rarely used emit unstable warp bubble because I'm not sure what it does other than reduce flight speeds, but since nobody's at warp anyway, it seems to have an effect. It just slows enemies down, but it puts out a nice little flash that your ship that you can see when in combat. And Pom is an alien with efficient trait for the warp cores. No, he's a Saurian, not an alien. I'm not sure I'm explaining this very well, but this is just for fun. Duty officers. Well, Neil Falconer in case I face Borg, because he works on both space and ground maps, even though he's just a ground officer. He is, I believe he was free in the promotions tab of the Zen store. And now for the space ones. This guy is free from playing the Nimbus story arc, and he reduces the cooldown on my torpedoes by 20% chance of improving recharge time by 5 seconds. This guy, I believe I bought him off the exchange, and he gives me extra shielding. Femini, she works with directed energy modulation to allow my weapons to stay stronger for longer by adding 200 resistance to this being drained, this power level. Warp Core Engineer. Every time I hit an emergency power to weapons or any other emergency power, I don't have any other emergency powers, but every time I hit this one, I get a 20% chance of extra power. So it's kind of like hitting this red matte capacitor, but not as definite and more frequent. And 2 damage control engineers to reduce the recharge time on this so that I can click it more often. Also, this is a different fleet to my own fleet, and this fleet always seems to have the combat boost running because it's a maxed out fleet. The Allurian Society. Just a quick shout out to them because they've helped me a lot for a long time. Because my fleet is Meriki Command. And you can see that the Allurian Society is pretty much maxed out on everything. Almost completed the colony as well. A level 81 fleet compared to my own fleet, which is level 52. Sorry, level 58. So we've got the combat boost going all the time in this fleet, which is very helpful. Prototype plasma projectile, that comes from my 3-piece space set. 700-day veteran, well that's obvious, I've been playing for more than 700 days, plus I bought a subscription. And maneuvering thrusters from the pilot specialization. But just have a look at my power levels, what I ended up with. Maxed out weapons, then put auxiliary as high as it could go, and left shields and engines where they fall. Experimental weapon is doing 1000 plasma damage. Remember, they're not upgraded. 1200 for the caustic upgraded one. Sorry, 1200 for the caustics. And the Omni is doing 1000. The projectile is doing nearly 3000 kinetic damage, even though it's an energy torpedo, I believe. Hyperplasma torpedo. This is really good torpedo. It's very slow at its flight speed. The torpedo's flight speed is very slow, but you fire several of them with fire at will, and they're pretty big torpedoes, so they're easy for the enemy to shoot them down. But when they hit, they have a nice effect of electrifying, creating a cloud of plasma electric, like a lightning storm around the enemy ships. So they're very much fun to use. I'm hoping I can figure out a way of speeding up their flight speed, but I haven't figured that out yet. I believe a duty officer can do it. And the tractor mines, it's just 3 level 60 cloaked tractor mines that are very good at capturing a ship and holding it almost stationary. And with relocate tractor mines, that will be very useful. Sorry, relocate mines in general. Anyway, that's enough of my piss poor explanation. This is these are my bound to the space bowl, these tools on tray 10. So let's do a couple of patrols on advanced difficulty, and followed by a couple of TFOs, a couple of random TFOs afterwards. So you might see me die a bit more than I do on my main using this character, because she's not my main. She's actually using the Lucari ground set from the Lucari reputation, which isn't the most powerful, but it's very much fun because this weapon shoots lightning bolts from your wrist. It's a wrist weapon that shoots lightning bolts, and you look like it. You look like a Sith Lord attacking somebody with the Force, with Force lightning. Anyway, enough of that ground set. Let's look at something, a patrol to do. Let's do our Gala system. Haven't done that in a while. Come on, game. So let's give the Benthans a hand. I usually put on strategic maneuvering for the extra flight speed. Hang on a minute, let me just have a look at the stations. Huh. This ship has command functions down here, but it's not a command ship, it's a intel ship. There's the plasma torpedoes, they're really good, they are. A lot of fun. And you can see it is on advanced difficulty. Just so you know, I'm not cheating on normal.
Controlled by the Benthan Guard. Our scans indicate your ship. You are now my... Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over and ask if their boss might come out of hiding.
Let's try a gravity well. A freeze rate. And attack pattern alpha. And there go the torpedoes. He's going to obliterate those torpedoes. See the plasma cloud? It's a green cloud with lots of lightning in it. Tachyon. See if I can remember who I'm targeting. I'm a bit zoomed in. You see this effect from the shield? From the Romulan shield? Now that's a lot of fun to see that coming up. It's something a bit different that makes this set a bit unique. Experimental weapon.
Keep concentrating fire on individual ships. Separate them and whittle down their numbers.
So it's a plasma build Romulan theme-ish Guardian cruiser. Unstable warp bubble. We'll freeze this one. got an endothermic freeze on him. I think that endothermic tool is a training manual you can get from the winter event which has just started. It's an older manual, but you can get it from the winter store, I believe. Just picking up my loot because the captain's got to get paid. Attack pattern Alpha's back up.
You will stand down and surrender to the Benthan Guard.
No, you'll surrender to
Sensors
this
are picking up
Romulan
small
spy.
emanations from some of the asteroid, possibly consistent with
There we are, disruption pulse emitter. It's not doing much at the moment, but it's a circumstantial thing, I believe. Let me relocate my mines. There they go. Now, do they attach? Are they going to work? I don't see the mine beams. There's one. It's gone onto the wrong ship. This is a lot of fun, this ship. It's more about its appearance than anything else. Because to see those plasma beams coming off of a Guardian cruiser and all that Romulan shield effect and the big hyper torpedoes.
We do what we want, where we want.
It's a vanity ship, I suppose. More concerned with looks than with firepower. But I have loads of fun with it. I've been playing it all morning. In fact, I've been playing it for the last couple of months.
We're jamming that spectrum of their comms now,
But this
so
morning I
it's
did
possible to
about
call for assistance.
5 TFOs and 3 or 4 patrols in it before I did this video, just to get warm up on this ship. I'm not rushing today. Right, freeze him. And now he's frozen, so he should die now if I keep his shields down when those torpedoes hit. Nope, they didn't do nothing. Oh well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I'm just trying to think if there's any other ability I can use, but I'd just be wasting it. I don't really need them. Not at the moment, anyway. What's this do again? Oh, yeah, it drains his shields. And gives that shield power to me, which it did do. Right, we're disruption pulse, gravity well, disruption pulse, special firing mode, and freeze him, and then attack pattern alpha. Now my shields are going down, but this is the boss of this patrol. Unstable, Tetrion. Tractor mines. Reduce my own threat. Go down fighting, I'm starting to feel the pain now.
That's got it. Excellent work. We'll send over a pacification party.
But I just shrug off the pain.
Thank you for your assistance, and welcome to this sector.
I don't feel
recommend that you
welcome.
get underway and head for secure space.
I feel like I got
There's been a lot of
shanghaied by the
turbulent
cops.
activity recently, and multiple reports of danger to travelers. We have the suspect in custody.
I'm not departing system until I got my loot. But you see, that was rather easy for an advanced patrol. It was rather easy in this not fully upgraded character. Without, and as you noticed when I talked of the build, I'm not using any vulnerability locators. Always get unsafe changes here. So annoying. Anyway, I'm going to delete some of this loot for salvage and energy credits because I haven't got much space in my inventory here. So before I go on to the next patrol, I need to clear the space so I can keep getting my pay. Normally I just throw everything in the replicator or salvage it. And that gives me plenty of loot and salvage for everything that I could need in the game. I'm never short of R&D materials. Now we can depart the system and do another patrol. So let's see if we can repeat a performance like that in a different patrol. Just to show that this ship is quite capable of advanced patrols. Some of the newer patrols, it does push the ship to its limit of survivability. That's why if you're not concentrating you can die quite easily, but the older patrols it seems to just waltz straight through. Let's try one that I haven't done recently. Oh, that one's going to kill me. I think I'll try that one. New last system.
Good to see you. Let's get to work. The Malon once used this system as a dump site. However, the radiation levels have been dropping.
Okay, whatever you say, Miss Romulan. There's something suspicious about that Romulan. Even though I'm a Romulan myself who's very suspicious. Now this is fighting the Vardwar. And they're a very tough enemy, so I'm likely to die, so I'm going to put on additional shielding just in case. This will be a challenge for this ship, if memory serves.
Coming here was foolish. Now suffer the fate of all fools.
I'm trying to save
The
my
ship is disabled. Time to acquire
clickies
their
until
data.
a fleet comes flying in.
We have the data.
And there it is. I feel like I'm a bit stuck in glue at the moment, but that's probably because the enemy put something on me to slow me, just like I'm putting on them. Come on, torpedoes, finish him off. Who's cloaking? Endothermic? Endothermic puts out a cone straight at the enemy and freezes them. There's my tractor beam mines. For about time they started working. They're normally very useful. Well, that wasn't as hard as I thought, but it might get harder as the patrol progresses. Off to the second beacon.
Your
Oh yes I am. Oops, I pressed gravity well by nervous mistake. Gotta try and resist pressing things that I don't need to be pressing. Whoa, I'm gonna die. No, maybe not.
Excellent work. Let's see what's in this ship's database.
I should have waited for my shield to heal a bit before I... Oh, no other fleet came
Another
in.
successful day. Ah.
I was going to wait for my shield to heal before I collected the data from there in case another fleet walked in, but it didn't. So, I can hit it now. On to the next beacon. Give my shields a few seconds.
Fire at will! Destroy the intruder!
Experimental beam. Trying tractors. There, tractors got him that time.
This should be the last ship we need to scan.
This time I put my shields on.
Destroy them! Open fire! All weapons!
Bit of brace for impact while I was inside all that spam. Gravity well's working a bit better than it was. And tractor mines are still doing their job. But as you can see, my shields on this ship aren't that great.
We don't tolerate your kind!
Target the big one, unstable warp bubble, disruption pulse emitter, and now get ready to die. Tetrion in there. Dynamic. And we're out of range of him. Not anymore. Relocate tractor mines. Big torpedoes, endothermic, gravity well. Boom, 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 he's dead. Yep. Phew! It's getting a bit more challenging now.
It appeared. I'm afraid.
One more beacon. And this is where it really hurts. I love this shielding effect. It's like chains. Give my shields a bit of a moment. I might regret clicking this so early without healing fully.
There's no time for formalities. Expecting.
Your time has passed!
Whoa, whoa, click it, click! Clickies don't always work, and now I've got a constriction anchor on me that I can't seem to break free of before I die. So hit lots and lots of healing. It's like they're using a strategy against me now. There, no, there we go, our shields are coming back up now. Phew. Now I was going to hit anti-time, but not enough enemies. Oh, there's plenty now. That was perfect for anti-time there. Lots of enemies, and now I'm caught in another constriction anchor with no possibility of escape, so I was going to put out a bio-healing bubble, but I didn't get the opportunity. And my clickies seem to be lagging a small bit, but that's probably due to my crappy mouse. Get the ones that are flanking me dead. Where's my beams? There, they didn't render for some reason. See if we get some resistances going. And some firepower. These constriction anchors are a pain.
Only a few bot remain. Let's do what must be done here.
They're more... The constriction anchors the Vardwar put out are more challenging than the Vardwar themselves. The disruption pulse. Switch to the big target. Without a decoy. Tractor mine relocation. You can hear by my voice that I'm feeling a little bit more than usual challenged. But that's always the same when I'm not on my main character. Not to say that this character is weak, but she's not elite either. And it's nice to have a scimitar to help. An NPC
Now
scimitar.
then, let's discuss what's going on here. Judging by the company you're keeping, I see. Very well. We'll set course for...
Two Romulans that don't like
Don't
each
mind
other.
Commander Jirok. She and I have a personal disagreement from another lifetime.
That was challenging.
Not the cleanest ending to this operation,
But
Jirok can see... Yes,
still,
I'll take all the luck I...
it was quite fun. Although I do believe that you should get more marks from doing patrols these days, because they're more challenging now, the re-envisioned patrols at least, and you're putting in as much effort as you would in a team match, so you should get the same reward rather than just a measly 15 marks. Anyway, now for a couple of random patrols, shall we? Let's hope we get space ones, or else you'll see my Lucari suit in action. Couple of random space patrols. I did quite a few this morning on advanced, and this ship seemed to be, let's say, it performed okay, but it was carried with some good pug teams that just happened to turn up. So it performed well on the good teams. I'm not sure how it would perform well on an average team or a bad team. I just love the look of this ship though. Guardian Cruiser is one of the best looking designs in the whole game in my opinion. And the green effect from the Romulan shield and set. On my main character I've got this ship and it looks wooden, like a brown wooden ship. Well, that TFO is probably loading, or I did click accept. Well, probably be a moment, probably be a ground map knowing my luck, but that's okay. I've got ground stuff on this character that I can show off. Starbase 1, perfect. Starbase 1 is just the right amount of challenge for this ship.
Listen up.
She
The
can
war
die
has
in it.
not been going well for the Federation, and the
So, since I don't need to speed about this map because there's so many enemies, I can just put on extra shielding. The Klingons are coming. Jolly hockey sticks. That's
Here they
what the
come.
Admiral says. It's like she's let's go for tea and have some jolly hockey stick games.
we're very quickly now that the normal central personnel time civilians.
So my imagination, if they changed the Admiral's accent and toned it down a bit. Should really put on extra firepower. Bit of healing needed. A lot of healing suddenly needed. Got a bit worried there for a moment. I was neglecting watching my hull. A lot of visual spam. The visual spam in this game is completely out of control and ridiculous. Science players must love this match. It's a great place to go to test exotic ship builds. I had to click that 3 times to get it to work. Tactical initiative. Yep, just suck everything up and blast it to pieces. Well, they die before the tractor mines even half relocate.
There's a rate of incoming corpse signatures. We may have a short amount of time before more arrive.
Jolly hockey sticks.
Reading some heavier ships incoming. Raiders and battle cruisers. The evacuation ship is launching. Give them cover.
I don't really have to do anything in this match because somebody's got some great control effects, and I feel like I'm just blasting away what I can, while somebody else does all the lines them all up. Lines them all up for the kill.
The evacuation ship is launching. Give them cover.
Whoa, was that mine? That relocation of mines? I don't think so somehow. That was a bit more powerful than my mines. I think my clickies don't always work because of the way I hold my mouse. It doesn't quite fit my hand. plasma clouds. Those were from my torps.
The evacuation ship is launching. Give them cover.
More plasma clouds from the torps. I love those plasma torps. They're not the most powerful in game, but they're bloody fun.
The Klingons are regrouping again. Get into position to prepare for the next
The
assault.
Klingons are equipping again. Get into position for the next assault. We've got to get this over by tea time.
Here come the Klingon battleships. Keep fighting.
We don't want the girls to miss their jolly hockey sticks match. Relocated mines just because I could. I keep trying to turn my nose towards the enemies, especially when they're grouped up like that, because I want to launch my torpedoes at them. But sometimes the flight turn rate just isn't enough.
The evacuation ship is launching. Give them
Anti-time around that gravity well. Whoops. Mouse gone wild for a moment. Right, broadside. Well, I was going to use gravity well, but didn't need to. How's that character? That ship looks pretty safe over there, so let's continue what we were doing, circling this guy's gravity wells. Put out my own just because I can. And there's plenty of gravity wells to go around in this match, usually is. Experimental Romulan beam. Relocate mines and look, grabbed him straight away. Nice. Slow down his speed as well, so it's harder for him to escape. Suck out his shields. Give myself some resistance and put my own shields back up. And somebody else comes along and robs me of the kill shot. I worked hard on that.
For now. I don't know how much longer we can keep up with this kind of war. Today was
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I didn't have to do anything, just circle that guy's gravity wells. Because they were just he was just lining up all the targets for me. Whoever he was. That's the thing, when you're in a ship that's not quite advanced capable, you can still do advanced matches, because 9 times out of 10 you'll find the big DPSs in there and they'll just not notice that they're carrying you. And that way you can get the elite marks quite easily. I've had that practically all morning with this ship. It's been a good morning. Right, one more patrol then. Actually, better check my loot. Plenty of space there for loot. Unless we get gravity kills or something. Come on, please be a space match. Please be a space match. Ooh! Well. I'm not going to DPS this myself. Let's just see if someone else does it. This is where this ship fails in an ISA. Not because of its firepower, but because it just hasn't got the speed for it to keep up. with the high-end teams that you usually find here. I think it does between 20 and 30k. Come on, fly my pretty, fly. So you can at least get some shots off. Oh, somebody's put a secondary shield around their team. That's not my shield. I haven't got a secondary shield, or at least I don't think I have. How do you do that? How do you give players a secondary shield? Well, tractor beam mines, I don't think they work on Org. I'm going to make my way to the other side of the map because I might be a bit slow and I need to make an early start. And somebody already has. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get there in time. Whoop, don't want to gate dope. Come on, fly! Very slow ship. Yeah, at least we're in range now. And endothermic doesn't work on the Transformers by the looks of things. And I'm so tempted to click gravity well, even though I know it's the wrong thing to do. Now I can click it. And it did nothing because somebody's got a more powerful one. But we can still put that around them. If you could see the smile on my face while I fly this, it would be very convincing that I'm enjoying this ship. Experimental beam, bit of a lag spike. Experimental beam, a lag spike stopped it from activating. Freeze him! Freeze the gate. That's always a good thing to do on the gate. Hit that because it's available. Ah, nice healing bubble. Lovely jubbly. I don't think I needed it, but if you've got one, you might as well put it out. If you're not, even if you don't need it, you might as well put it out at the end. Gravity well, pulse, bubble, hit everything I've got, and that's all I really need. And get ready to get out the way of the warp core breach. So this ended in an ISA. And you know what? This ship didn't die. 2 advanced patrols, 2 advanced TFOs, and it's still alive. It didn't respawn once. How interesting. Normally, sometimes it does. I would have expected it to have died at least once in this video. At least once for 4 matches. Maybe twice, but no. There are some good teams about today, I've noticed, actually, since I've been playing all morning. And I think the good teams are about because it's the first day of the winter event. So lots of people are logged on. And that's why there's so many good teams about today. And that's why this ship is feeling a little bit carried. But I've been using it for several months now, and it's on this character. It's really fun. It's not the best, most logical build ever, but I hope it inspires somebody to do something better or to come up with ideas. And I hope you enjoyed watching my gameplay. my Romulan themed Guardian Starfleet cruiser. Okay, that's it for this video. It was nice to end in an ISA and a nice shot of the ship there. Thanks for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and most importantly, I'd like to hear your comments in the comment section below, because that will help out my YouTube channel most of all if you comment on the YouTube video, even though I'm sharing it on Facebook and my usual other places. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the winter event, because I'm going to be putting out a video of that at some point. I might wait a while though, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. And I also want to do my own grind as well. And I might put out a video of the USS Santa Claus like I do every year. Oh, and by the way, this character's name, for anyone who's interested, is Sultra. So this is Alt Lexington signing off. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you enjoy my videos. Bye!